It's time to say goodbye, and this time, forever. If you've clicked on this video, you've likely reached a point where the emotional weight of loving an avoidant partner feels unbearable. Perhaps you've found yourself questioning why someone you care so deeply about seems so unwilling to meet you halfway. You've tried everything, offering patience, showing vulnerability, holding on through the silence. And yet, the connection you long for always feels just out of reach. It's exhausting, isn't it? Feeling like no matter how much love and effort you pour in, it isn't enough to close the distance. But let me tell you something important. This isn't your fault. The dynamic between an avoidant partner and someone who craves closeness can feel like an emotional tug-of-war. You pull for intimacy, and they pull away, leaving you stranded somewhere between hope and despair. It's a pattern that traps so many in relationships where their emotional needs are sidelined and their self-worth begins to erode. The pain of feeling unseen or unimportant doesn't just come from their actions. It stems from the deep yearning for connection that remains unmet. This is why detachment matters. It's not about giving up on love or accepting loneliness. It's about rediscovering the parts of yourself that may have been overshadowed by this relationship. Detaching from an avoidant partner is a powerful choice, one that prioritizes your emotional well-being and allows you to step out of the cycle of frustration and self-doubt. It doesn't mean you stop caring about the person. It means you start caring about yourself more. In this journey, the first step is understanding that your value is not tied to someone else's ability to meet your needs. It's a shift from seeking validation in their behavior to finding strength within yourself. Yes, it's hard. Breaking free from the emotional grip of an avoidant relationship can feel like walking away from something you've fought so hard to keep. But holding on to a connection that leaves you feeling unfulfilled will only keep you stuck in pain. Detachment is not about closing your heart. It's about freeing it. It's about giving yourself permission to let go of the patterns and dynamics that no longer serve you, so you can create space for healing, growth, and peace. The journey begins here, with the decision to reclaim yourself. When someone you love keeps pulling away, it can feel deeply personal. You give, you try, you wait, only to find yourself staring at an emotional wall. But what if their distance wasn't about you at all? Understanding the avoidant attachment style is a powerful step in breaking free from the confusion and hurt that often comes with loving someone who struggles with closeness. Avoidant partners often seem calm, composed, and even emotionally distant. They might be the ones who quietly retreat during disagreements, steer clear of vulnerable conversations, or prefer time alone when things get tough. At first, this can seem harmless, maybe even intriguing. But over time, their inability or unwillingness to connect on a deeper level begins to hurt. You start questioning yourself. Am I too needy? Am I pushing them away? The truth is, their behavior has far more to do with their own inner fears than anything you've done. Avoidant attachment often begins in childhood. Many avoidant individuals grow up in environments where emotional expression was discouraged or met with discomfort. Imagine a child who learns that crying or asking for comfort will only be ignored or criticized. Over time, they stop asking. They teach themselves that being independent is safer than risking rejection. These lessons don't just disappear as they grow older. They carry them into their adult relationships, where intimacy feels less like a safe harbor and more like a risk they'd rather not take. This is why an avoidant partner might push you away even when they care. For them, closeness can feel overwhelming, as if they're losing their sense of control. They've been wired to believe that vulnerability equals danger, and their instinct is to retreat. It's not that they don't want love. It's that they've never learned how to fully trust it. If you've noticed them pulling back after a moment of connection, avoiding conversations about the future, or deflecting emotions with practicality, you're not imagining it. These patterns are their way of keeping emotional distance. Unfortunately, this distance can leave you feeling like an outsider, always reaching but never quite getting in. It's a painful dynamic, especially if you're someone who thrives on closeness and connection. But here's what's important to understand. Their behavior is not a reflection of your worth. It's not because you're asking for too much or doing something wrong. It's because they've built emotional walls so high that even the most patient and loving partner can't climb them. Trying harder, giving more, or waiting for them to change often only deepens the cycle. Recognizing the avoidant attachment style allows you to take a step back, not out of frustration but out of clarity. You stop personalizing their actions and start seeing them for what they are: coping mechanisms. This doesn't mean excusing hurtful behavior, but it helps you let go of the self-blame and stop trying to fix something that isn't yours to fix. Once you understand these patterns, something shifts. You realize that it's not your job to teach them how to connect or to sacrifice your own emotional needs in the hope that they'll come around. This understanding becomes a kind of freedom, a chance to reclaim your energy, your peace, and your self-worth. Their attachment style doesn't define you. It doesn't diminish your ability to love or your desire for connection. It simply explains why the relationship feels the way it does. With this knowledge, you can begin to focus less on their distance and more on what you need to heal, grow, and move forward. Loving an avoidant partner takes a toll that often builds gradually, leaving you emotionally depleted before you even realize it. At first, you may focus on their potential, believing that your patience and love can help them open up. But over time, the imbalance in emotional effort becomes clear, and the cost of staying in the relationship starts to weigh on you. This chapter dives into how this toll affects your sense of self and reinforces the need for detachment. One of the first signs of this toll is the self-doubt that begins to creep in. When your emotional needs go unmet, it's easy to start questioning yourself. You may ask, am I asking for too much? Am I not enough for them? These questions don't arise because there's something wrong with you. They're a natural reaction to the rejection and distance you feel. Yet the longer you sit with these doubts, the more they chip away at your confidence, making it harder to see your worth outside of the relationship. This self-doubt often leads to patterns of overthinking. You may spend hours replaying conversations in your mind, searching for clues about what went wrong or how you can fix things. This mental loop consumes your energy, leaving you emotionally exhausted. Instead of feeling present in your own life, you become stuck in the cycle of trying to decode their actions and figure out how to bridge the gap between you. Another sign of the toll is how much you begin to suppress your own needs. To avoid conflict or further distance, you might find yourself silencing your feelings or lowering your expectations. Maybe you avoid asking for reassurance because you fear being dismissed, or you stop bringing up topics that matter to you because they seem to make your partner uncomfortable. Each time you compromise, you move further away from your authentic self, losing touch with the person you were before the relationship began. This dynamic can also create a profound sense of loneliness, even when you're together. You may find yourself sitting next to them, but feeling as though you're worlds apart. The emotional disconnect is isolating, leaving you longing for intimacy that never comes. This loneliness isn't just about their distance. It's about the realization that your needs for closeness and connection are consistently unmet. Beyond the relationship, the toll begins to seep into other areas of your life. You might notice that you're less engaged with friends, less motivated to pursue hobbies, or more distracted at work. The emotional energy spent trying to maintain the relationship drains you, leaving little left for the things that once brought you joy. It becomes harder to focus on yourself when so much of your time is spent trying to make the relationship work. Acknowledging this emotional toll is a crucial step in the process of detachment. It helps you see the imbalance clearly and recognize that staying in a dynamic that leaves you feeling unseen and depleted is not sustainable. This awareness is what allows you to start reclaiming your energy and refocusing on your own needs. After understanding the emotional toll of being with an avoidant partner, the next step is recognizing why detachment is not just a choice, it's a necessity. Holding on to a relationship where your needs are consistently unmet doesn't only drain you emotionally, it also prevents you from creating space for the growth, peace, and connection you deserve. Detachment isn't about giving up on love. It's about stepping back to protect your own emotional well-being. When you stay connected to someone who struggles to meet you halfway, you often find yourself locked in a cycle of hope and disappointment. You hope for a change in their behavior, a breakthrough moment where they finally let you in. But those moments are fleeting at best. This cycle keeps you holding on, but it also keeps you stuck, constantly waiting for something that never fully comes. Detachment allows you to break free from that waiting, to shift your focus from what they might do to what you can do for yourself. Many people hesitate to detach because they see it as a failure, as if walking away means they didn't try hard enough. But detachment isn't about giving up. It's about acknowledging the reality of the relationship. No matter how much effort you put in, you cannot force someone to open up if they're not ready. Recognizing this isn't weakness, it's clarity. Detachment means accepting that their inability to connect is about them, not you, and that staying tied to their struggle will only deepen your own pain. You may also find that attachment keeps you tethered to a version of yourself you no longer want to be. When you're constantly trying to prove your worth or fix the relationship, you lose sight of your own identity. The longer you stay in this dynamic, the further you drift from the person you are outside of it. Detachment gives you the opportunity to rediscover yourself, to focus on your own needs, goals, and desires without the weight of the relationship holding you back. One of the most important reasons why detachment is necessary is that it allows you to regain control of your emotional energy. When so much of your time is spent analyzing their behavior or wondering how to bridge the gap between you, there's little left for yourself. By detaching, you reclaim that energy and redirect it toward healing, growth, and creating the life you want. Detachment is a process, not a single decision. It requires courage to let go of the familiar, even when the familiar is painful. But in choosing detachment, you're choosing yourself, your peace, your well-being, and your future. Once you understand why detachment is necessary, the next step is recognizing when it's time to take action. It's easy to rationalize staying in a relationship, telling yourself things will improve, or that you just need to try harder. But there are clear signs that staying is doing more harm than good. Identifying these signs is crucial because it helps you acknowledge when the relationship has reached a point where letting go is the healthiest choice. One of the most telling signs that you need to detach is when you feel like you're the only one putting in the effort. If you're constantly the one initiating conversations, making plans, or trying to fix conflicts, it's a sign that the emotional balance in the relationship is off. Relationships require mutual investment, and when that's missing, it's easy to feel drained and unappreciated. Recognizing this imbalance helps you see that it's not your job to carry the relationship alone. Another sign is the consistent dismissal of your feelings. If you've tried to express your needs or concerns, only to have them ignored or minimized, it's a clear indication that your emotional well-being isn't being valued. Over time, this can leave you feeling invisible, as if your voice doesn't matter. A partner who repeatedly avoids or invalidates your emotions is showing you that they're unwilling or unable to meet you on an emotional level. You might also notice that the relationship is affecting your mental health. Feeling anxious, constantly second-guessing yourself, or experiencing a sense of loneliness even when you're together are strong indicators that the relationship is taking a toll. If being with your partner leaves you feeling worse about yourself instead of better, it's a sign that the connection is no longer healthy. A growing sense of resentment can also signal the need for detachment. If you find yourself holding on to anger or frustration because your needs aren't being met, it's worth asking whether staying is truly worth it. Resentment often builds when we stay in situations where we feel unappreciated or unfulfilled, and it can be a powerful reminder that something needs to change. Identifying these signs isn't about assigning blame. It's about recognizing patterns that are no longer serving you. It's about giving yourself permission to step away from what's hurting you and move toward what can bring you peace. Detachment is not something that happens overnight. After recognizing the toll an avoidant partner has taken on your emotional well-being, it's time to take deliberate steps to untangle yourself from the patterns that have kept you stuck. Emotional detachment requires focus and a willingness to prioritize your own needs, even when it feels uncomfortable or unfamiliar. The process begins with acceptance. When you've spent so much time hoping for things to change, stepping back to see the relationship for what it truly is can be difficult. There's often a deep emotional attachment to the version of the relationship you imagined it could become. Letting go means acknowledging that the connection you desire may never align with the reality of what your partner is capable of offering. This acceptance isn't defeat, it's clarity. Creating distance is also essential. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you stop caring, but it does mean you need to protect your mental and emotional energy. Begin by setting clear boundaries. This could include limiting interactions that feel draining or avoiding topics that consistently leave you feeling dismissed or invalidated. Boundaries are not about control. They are about preserving your own peace. Focusing on yourself is a necessary shift. When so much of your attention has been directed towards someone else, it can feel strange to turn inward. Reconnect with the things that make you feel alive. Hobbies you've neglected, friendships that uplift you, or personal goals that have taken a back seat. The act of redirecting your energy isn't about distraction. It's about building a life that feels whole and fulfilling, regardless of anyone else's role in it. Minimizing contact can help you create the emotional space you need to detach. Whether it's reducing communication or taking a complete break, less contact can prevent you from falling back into the same cycles of seeking validation or trying to fix things. This doesn't have to be harsh or permanent, but it is a way to give yourself the time and space to heal. Replacing self-blame with self-compassion is equally important. It's easy to replay moments where you think you could have done something differently, but this only keeps you tethered to the past. Acknowledge that you've done your best and that letting go isn't a sign of failure. It's a commitment to your own growth. Practices like journaling, therapy, or meditation can help you process these emotions in a healthy and supportive way. Visualization can be a powerful tool to reinforce your detachment. Picture the emotional ties you have to your avoidant partner as a cord and imagine yourself gently cutting it. This isn't about forgetting them or erasing the relationship, but about freeing yourself from the weight of the emotional connection that no longer serves you. Each time doubt creeps in, you can return to this image as a reminder of the choice you've made to prioritize your well-being. Finally, remember that progress isn't linear. There will be moments of strength and moments of doubt. Detachment doesn't mean you won't feel sadness, anger, or even love. It means you're no longer allowing those emotions to dictate your actions or self-worth. Each step you take, no matter how small, is a move toward reclaiming your peace and independence. Detachment isn't just about walking away from an avoidant partner. It's about reclaiming your emotional space and beginning a journey of healing. After investing so much energy in a relationship that couldn't fulfill your needs, moving forward means reconnecting with yourself. This stage isn't about forgetting the past, it's about learning from it and using those lessons to build a healthier, more fulfilling future. Healing starts with acknowledging the full scope of your emotions. It's natural to feel a mix of relief, sadness, anger, and even hope all at once. These emotions can feel overwhelming, but they are a necessary part of processing what you've been through. Allow yourself the time and space to sit with these feelings without judgment. Journaling or speaking with a trusted friend can help bring clarity, turning raw emotions into understanding. At the same time, moving forward means shifting the focus back to yourself. When you've spent so much time prioritizing someone else's emotional needs, it can feel unfamiliar to prioritize your own. Begin by identifying what brings you joy and makes you feel alive. Whether it's revisiting a favorite hobby, exploring new interests, or simply spending quiet time alone, these moments are vital for rebuilding your sense of identity. Part of the healing process involves reflecting on the patterns that kept you in the relationship for so long. Were you afraid of being alone? Did you suppress your own needs to avoid conflict? Understanding these dynamics is essential for breaking free from them in the future. Therapy, self-help books, or even guided introspection can help uncover these underlying patterns, giving you the tools to approach future relationships with greater self-awareness. Rebuilding self-esteem is another cornerstone of healing. A relationship with an avoidant partner can leave you doubting your worth, but it's important to remind yourself that their inability to connect was never about you. Surround yourself with people who value and uplift you. Celebrate your strengths and achievements, no matter how small they may seem. These small acts of self-affirmation help rebuild your confidence and reinforce the belief that you are deserving of love and respect. Moving forward also means redefining what you want from relationships. Use this time to consider what a healthy, supportive partnership looks like for you. Imagine a connection built on mutual respect, open communication, and shared emotional investment. Knowing what you want and what you won't accept sets the foundation for healthier relationships in the future. Healing doesn't mean rushing to the next phase of life. It's a gradual process that requires patience and self-compassion. There will be days when progress feels slow or when old emotions resurface, and that's okay. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a move toward creating the life you deserve. This process isn't just about recovering, it's about transformation. You're not simply returning to who you were before the relationship. You're becoming stronger, more self-aware, and better equipped to create a future rooted in love, respect, and emotional freedom. Detaching from an avoidant partner is one of the most challenging yet transformative journeys you can undertake. It's a process that requires you to confront your own fears, embrace your emotions, and ultimately choose yourself. As you reflect on how far you've come, it's important to acknowledge the strength and courage it took to make this choice. You've taken steps not just to let go of a relationship, but to reclaim your sense of self and create a future that aligns with your needs and desires. Letting go often feels like stepping into the unknown, and that uncertainty can be intimidating. However, the decision to detach is a declaration of self-worth. It's about recognizing that staying in a relationship where your emotional needs are consistently unmet is not a reflection of love. It's a form of self-sacrifice that no longer serves you. Detachment is not about rejection. It's about liberation. It's the act of freeing yourself from a cycle of pain and disappointment to make room for peace and possibility. Empowerment comes from understanding the growth you've experienced throughout this journey. Every difficult conversation, every moment of doubt, and every small step toward independence has brought you closer to rediscovering your strength. You may not have realized it at the time, but choosing to detach was an act of profound self-respect. You prioritized your well-being over the comfort of familiarity, and that decision has laid the foundation for a healthier, more fulfilling future. As you move forward, it's important to recognize that empowerment doesn't mean perfection. There will be days when memories resurface or when you question your choices, and that's okay. Healing is not linear, and moments of vulnerability do not erase your progress. What matters is how you respond to those moments. Instead of falling back into old patterns, you can now remind yourself of the reasons you chose to let go. You are no longer bound by the emotional weight of an avoidant partner. You are free to focus on your own growth. Rebuilding your confidence and trust in yourself is a significant part of this process. When you've been in a relationship where your needs were overlooked, it's easy to lose sight of your value. Empowerment means reclaiming that sense of worth. It's about celebrating your strengths, honoring your boundaries, and remembering that your happiness is not dependent on anyone else. You are enough, just as you are, and you always have been. One of the most powerful outcomes of detachment is the opportunity to redefine what love means to you. This is your chance to set new standards for the relationships you welcome into your life. Healthy love is built on mutual respect, emotional safety, and shared effort. By letting go of what no longer serves you, you've made space for connections that truly align with your values and needs. Empowerment is not just a destination, it's a journey. It's about embracing the freedom to live authentically and unapologetically. The strength you've gained through this process will carry you forward, reminding you that you have the power to create a life filled with joy, purpose, and love that feels true to who you are. After reflecting on your journey and the steps you've taken to detach, it's important to remember that healing and empowerment are not solitary paths. Sharing your experience, connecting with others, and finding community can make the process even more meaningful. You've come this far, and now is the time to use your voice to inspire and encourage others who may be navigating similar challenges. Have you ever considered how your story might resonate with someone else? The lessons you've learned from detaching from an avoidant partner can offer hope and clarity to others who feel stuck. When you share your reflections, whether in the comment section of this video, with a trusted friend, or in a journal, you create space for validation, not only for yourself, but for others who might need to hear it. Connection through shared experiences can be a powerful source of healing. Engagement isn't just about conversation, it's about action. Take a moment to think about how this journey has reshaped your perspective. What boundaries have you learned to set? What qualities will you prioritize in future relationships? Reflecting on these shifts not only solidifies your growth, but also helps others see what's possible when they choose themselves. Finally, if this video has resonated with you, let your presence be known. Share your thoughts, ask questions, and connect with others in the community. Your voice matters, and the support you give or receive could make a world of difference.